Off with Derby County and their injury worries. We have to only look through their injury list to see why they're in a little bit of trouble at the moment this season, with Corey Blackett-Taylor being the latest player to pick up an injury this season. It puts them in a very, very difficult position. Now, they also have the likes of Curtis Nelson, Kane Wilson, Lars-Jørgen Selvesen and Sondre Langas all out at the moment as well, which is obviously heavily disappointing for the Derby County fan base, as they were some key players throughout last season. Sondre Langas was a big part of the reason why they stayed in the division. Lars-Jørgen Selvesen didn't play as much football as he would have liked last year, and Kane Wilson is a massive problem causer. You've then got Erwin Beck, who is out until the first international break, and Patrick Adjumang, who we don't quite know where he is. Now, Kane Wilson has been seen in training this week in that open training session, but I don't believe has played any football yet. Rhian Brewster, Dejon Brown, Ben Osborne, and I believe there was one other as well, Bobby Clark, all got minutes yesterday for the B team, which was obviously... And I believe there was one other as well, Bobby Clark, all got minutes yesterday for the B team, which was obviously... Welcome in, everybody. How is the audio now? Is the audio working? Are we all good? Is audio on? Welcome in, Paul. Welcome in, JJ. Welcome in, everybody. We're live across 3 different platforms right now. In terms of YouTube, Twitch and TikTok. So whatever platform you're on, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Am I still on or am I not on? Are we here? Are we working? Yes, audio. Am I still on the screen? Am I still working? I think we're working. Can hear you now. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Come live again. I am in, everybody. Audio is working. Can I get TikTok chat up somewhere? Here we go. Yes, we are in. We are in. Welcome in, Jack. Welcome in, EG, over on TikTok as well. We're across a few different platforms today, which is a little bit different. But let's talk about Derby County. Obviously, Friday, facing up against Bristol City, which is a massive game in terms of Derby County's future and Derby County's season in complete and total honesty. And that's obviously going to be a huge part of this upcoming season. Is there ways for Derby County to secure 3 points? There certainly is. And are Derby County going to be able to do that? I certainly do believe that they are. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I will be getting to all of your comments throughout this stream as well. We're going to be talking Bristol City, we're going to be talking transfers, and we're going to be looking at predictions for this upcoming Championship weekend. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you do go ahead and check all that out. But anyway, let's get into it then. So to start off with, obviously Derby County are in... a very decent position in terms of fitness, which is something we've learnt today from John Eustace. I do have a video about his press conference coming out tomorrow, and obviously the latest injury news, which I am going to be discussing as well in videos tomorrow. But let's talk about it here on this live stream. Let's take a look at what John Eustace had to say, what players are potentially on the way back, and things like that. So if we get into the injury news to start off with, the most important thing that I think has come out of pre-season, and obviously now heading into this game versus Bristol City, is the fact that we've got players on the way back. Kane Wilson is set to return this week. He's been back in training already. Some of you will have seen... in John Eustace's pre-match press conference, some of you will have seen during Derby County's open training session on, was it Monday, I think it was, which was obviously a huge moment for Derby County as they get a big player back. Any news on new signings yet? JE was KG. He's going to be KG because he doesn't want to lose out on the players, if I'm completely honest. Lewis, what formation do you think we should play? I think we're going to a back 4 this weekend, I think. but we'll see. Agyemang's set to be back in a week. Yeah, we're going to get into that in a moment. Do you think Max Word will get booed? I don't think he did last year, but obviously you can never count your chickens before they hatch. He may get booed, he may not. That's something which we're going to have to wait and see coming up to this upcoming game. Now, for me, I don't believe he should get booed. I think he did his job for Derby County, to be quite honest, and I don't think many people can sort of turn around and say that he doesn't deserve a good reception, if I'm completely honest. But we're going to have to wait and see on that one, because you don't want to upset people, and obviously Max Bird moving on did upset a few people. Lewis, you're right. I'm all good, thanks Richard. How are you? Anyone on Matos? There's nothing as of from the video earlier on today, but obviously that's something which we can discuss across the course of this stream. Anything transfer related or anything like that, just drop your questions in the chat. Why would you have Gordon? In terms of Gordon, I think he'd be very good cover. I don't necessarily think he'd be a starter that would cause a huge impact going forward, but I definitely think he could cause a change in terms of cover and things like that, which is what Derby County need going forward. What is your score prediction? In complete honesty, I'd be happy with a 0-0 draw. I'm not going to lie. But if Derby County can take a 1-0 win, I'd be absolutely delighted. Now, anyway, back onto the injuries. Kane Wilson and Rhian Brewster are back. Rhian Brewster played 45 minutes on Tuesday for Derby County's B team up against Oxford United. They did lose the game 2-1, I think it was, but Rhian Brewster played 45 minutes in that game. Kane Wilson is now back within the group, which is obviously really, really important for Derby County. As they sort of move forward, it's getting a player like Rhian Brewster back in that sort of state of play and having an impact on games, because that is what he's going to have to do as Derby County move forward. So I don't think Wilson or Brewster will be involved on Friday, but I do think they'll find a way in across the course of the next few weeks. Now, those of you over on TikTok, on Twitch, on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. Obviously on TikTok, hit follow, YouTube subscribe, and Twitch follow as well. But I think we are going to have to wait and see sort of how it develops on those two. There is some updates in regards to that of Curtis Nelson, Lars Jørgen Salverson and Patrick Agyemang. Nelson is about 4 to 5 weeks away. Unfortunately picked up a setback to his injury, which happened during the trip to Austria, which is obviously sort of a disappointing bit of news to come out of Derby County across the course of today, but it is one which I think shows that he was in a good place, because I wasn't expecting him back till November anyway, if I'm completely honest. In terms of Salverson and Agyemang, they're due back next week, which will obviously be really important to get them back within the squad and back playing games. So it will be interesting to see sort of how that goes. Don Dietrich said that Wilson's first training session was on Monday, so he'll be back for a while. Nelson back in 4 to 5 weeks. Salverson and Agyemang back next week. Yeah, in terms of Kane Wilson, he now will have done a fair few sessions. It'll be, 3 or 4 sessions now for Derby, so he'll be sort of moving sort of towards being available. It just won't be this weekend, in my personal opinion, but we'll sort of see how that goes across the course of the next few weeks. Did anyone see how Brewster played for the 45 minutes? Any good? Now, in terms of what John Eustace had to say, he said he was effective, impactful, but ultimately is still on his return, so I wouldn't have expected too much from it, if I'm completely honest. Are you streaming on 3 different platforms tonight? YouTube, TikTok and Twitch? Yes, we are live on all 3. Currently got 40 viewers over on TikTok, 13 on YouTube, and I think we're on about 3 over on Twitch, which is brilliant. I want to get myself out there on multiple platforms. Any news on Travis? At the moment, we're awaiting updates on Travis. Obviously, we know what the bid is that Derby County need to reach, and that's around £3 million. But at the moment, Derby County's only public bid has been £1.5 million, if I remember correctly. Paul didn't play that well. I'm assuming that's in regards to Rhian Brewster. But then again, with fitness and things like that, it's not a surprise. What about the Japanese one? I'm assuming you're on about Seoto. You're not the only one to mention that already this evening. And there isn't any new news, unfortunately, in terms of Seoto. It's one of those where we haven't actually had any development since it first came out, I think it was on Saturday evening, where it came out that Derby County had essentially been given pole position in terms of getting that deal done, and nothing seems to have come from that right now. We're obviously awaiting further confirmation of that, which is going to take a while for Derby County to get everything that they need to get done in terms of that. It looks like it is a little bit of an expensive deal, so it wouldn't surprise me if Derby County are sort of haggling on fees, to be quite honest. But we are going to have to wait and see sort of how that develops across the course of the next week or so, if I'm completely honest. It's one which I do think will be addressed during that time period. I am not going to lie. But it's one which we've got to sort of have patience with, to be quite honest with you, and one which I do think will come through. Obviously, you've got the deal with Travis, which I think is probably the least likely to get done, if I'm completely honest. But in complete honesty, I think they probably all get done. But let's just see sort of how it goes across the course of the next few weeks. Think 3 million would be a steal for Travis, if I'm honest. My only reservations with Travis is the fact that he's out of contract next summer. So if Derby County are to get that deal done, for me, it seems a very, very expensive one. But we'll have to wait and see sort of how that goes across the course of the next few weeks. Sayoto would be a massive sign. I completely agree with you. Very, very good player. Will certainly have an impact at Derby County as we sort of build into the next part of our season. And obviously, I know he's got that conversation in regards to injuries and things like that. Appreciate the follow, Charlie Bradwell. Welcome in, mate. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But in terms of Cioto, I think he can have a huge impact on Derby County going forward. And that's something which we're sort of going to have to wait and see as the season progresses for me. Kmart Roof has got interest from Doncaster and a Scottish team. Yeah, I believe Aberdeen is one of the teams interested. And I think that would be a really good move for Kmart Roof to go for. Obviously, if you look at his history with Derby County, obviously came in, got injured after I think it was 2 or 3 games. I don't even think he'd been in the club 2 weeks at that point. But we're going to have to sort of wait and see how that goes across the course of the next few weeks. I believe he is still training at Derby County, but obviously for the likes of John Eustace, for the likes of the coaching staff and Kmart Roof, I really do hope he gets that opportunity sorted and gets the chance to actually go and play football this season. Honestly think the deal for Max Johnston is out the window now. Not heard anything about him today or in recent days. The last thing that I heard in regards of Max Johnston was that we were preparing a third bid, but I've heard nothing since then, which obviously is what we're waiting for. If any of you guys do hear anything, do make sure to drop that in the description, well, in the chat and things like that. Obviously, if you are over on YouTube, make sure you check out down in the description NordVPN, kit bag, CD keys, get hold of everything that you need from those few platforms. I heard Cioto has been agreed, then goes quiet. Is it work permit? I'm going to be completely honest with you. In terms of work permit, there's definitely something there, but I'm not entirely sure how much of an issue a work permit is for Derby sort of getting that done with Cioto, because obviously he spent time at QPR last season. So I don't know if it'll be something that is actually a problem, if that makes sense. It's obviously something that will need to be sort of discussed and will be something that will be addressed by whichever club ends up picking him up, but it's not one that I think will be a deal breaker, to be quite honest with you. Sorry, nothing to do with football, but we've adopted a kitten and my dog thinks it's her baby. That's really good, that is, because I've got a dog called Ted, and when we first got him, him and the cat didn't like each other at all. But now they like each other. They occasionally scrap, but they like each other now, so we're all right. Unfortunately for you, Lewis, as I know you follow them closely, after working there, Doncaster lost 2-0 in League One last night. Marcus Harness had a blinder. Yeah, do you know something? Marcus Harness in League One is an absolute joke. Like, I thought he was fairly decent for the Championship, if I'm completely honest. But, like, getting that move and going under a manager that he really likes. Like Lee Grant was part of the job at Ipswich Town that went so well. So having him back with someone like that, it's just going to put more and more confidence into him, which is obviously a brilliant thing. Obviously, those of you on TikTok, make sure you hit the like button, hit the follow button as well, so that you can stay tuned for all the Derby County content. Roof has not played 3 games in a row for about 3 years. No way we should keep him. I personally don't believe we will, if I'm completely honest with you. I think in terms of in terms of Kmar Roof, I do personally believe that he'll probably move on to pastures new across the course of the next few weeks. I think he's just waiting for the right deal to come through, if I'm completely honest with you. But we'll sort of wait and see how that develops. I heard Wilson is back next week. He's back training now. He's trained this week. Whether he's involved this week, whether he's involved on Friday or whether he's involved next week, midweek. Is it midweek that we play? Is it Burnley we've got in the cup, if I remember rightly? If it's midweek that we play Burnley, I think he might be involved in that one. But I think it would be an off-the-bench type circumstance, which obviously we'll have to deal with as and when it comes. But obviously at the moment, we're sort of looking at the Derby County position, and Kane Wilson being back is going to be massively important. Say hello to Laura for me. She may well be in the chat, so hello, Laura. MK Dons conceded first league goal under Paul Warne, including his time there last night as they drew 1-1 against Crawley away in League 2. I've been a bit disappointed with MK Dons sort of long term this season. I don't necessarily think, given the quality that they've got in the building, I don't necessarily think they've shown everything that they've got, in my personal opinion, but we'll sort of have to wait and see how that goes. When will Ajimang be on the pitch? I think Ajimang will probably be back and involved on the pitch probably next week. I think he'll be involved on the Saturday. Whether he's involved midweek or not, I'm not entirely sure, but I think the perfect opportunity for both Selverson, Wilson and Ajimang would be to get them in for that pre-season friendly. The EFL Cup game. I don't know what the fuck I'm going on about. Apologies. Can you see signing someone before Friday? I'd love to say yes, but I think at the moment, I think it would be very, very unlikely. I'm not going to lie. But we will have to wait and see what happens. It would be good to see Sayoto come through the door and have him on the bench at the weekend. Well, on Friday, it would be nice to see Lewis Travis in the door, but obviously we've got to wait for sort of those deals to actually come through. And obviously at the moment, we're not really in that position. Tuesday, I'm assuming you're on about Burnley. Yes, that'll be a good game for the likes of Wilson and Selverson, etc. to get minutes in. Hopefully they do. I know, completely random and away from football, Ben Osborne owns a bar near me. Never been in, but seems decent. Derby players went in there after we went up. Doesn't surprise me. Ben Osborne's got a couple of decent businesses going around the East Midlands area. I think he's got a coaching foundation going as well, and things like that. So that's obviously really important for him, and they're all sort of around the Midlands for me. We need to have him back because Nyambi is far gone. Ward is too injury prone. For me, I think Ward's going to be a winger this season. If he stays by the end of the window, I think he will be a winger for me, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Welcome in, Beza. I hope you're okay, mate. I asked him when I met him. He said a couple of weeks. Yeah, I think he's obviously back in training now. Well, he's back in training next week. Hopefully, we could get him involved at some point. But obviously, it's a difficult one with the likes of Ajimang and Selverson, because you don't want to risk that sort of next opportunity, if that makes sense. You don't want to cause like a relapse of injury or anything like that, which obviously Derby County have had to deal with across the course of the last couple of years with players like getting an injury, coming back too soon and things like that. So we'll sort of have to wait and see how that goes. Any news on Koki Sayoto? I really hope we get him. Sorry if you've mentioned just joined. It's all right, Warwick. Don't you worry. right now, there's nothing new based on what we heard the other day. We're still waiting on confirmation of that signing. It would obviously be nice to get one of those signings done while we're on stream so that we can talk about it. But obviously, at the moment, we have no confirmation, if I'm completely honest. But it will be interesting to see if he does come through. I think we should just play kids in the Burnley game. I think we'll get battered, if I'm honest. Only way I can see us winning, scraping a 0-0 and winning on penalties. Appreciate the roses in the comments. Thank you very much, to Boost. Welcome in. So in terms of Burnley, I'm not really too fussed in terms of how we play or anything like that. It will be interesting to see sort of how it develops for that game. I think it's going to be another one, bit like the West Brom game, where we use it as a fitness game, if I'm completely honest, in my personal opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. I need to see Patrick play low. I like the videos. I like the guy, to be honest. Would like to see videos of him training. Yeah, I think we'll get that across the course of the next week or so. I think we'll get pictures of him, if I'm honest. Who's your Championship top 6? I think when I did my predictions, I think I went for Ipswich, Southampton. Who else did I say? Ipswich, Southampton. I think I put Leicester in there. Bristol City, I think, was in there. Obviously, put Birmingham on the edge. It's going to be really interesting. I think I think Bristol City are going to do really well. Really appreciate the rose again, to Boost. Welcome in. Chances of Gordon. I think the chances of Gordon purely depend on Sayoto coming in and if anybody else comes in, if I'm completely honest. But I think at the moment we've just got to be careful with what we're looking at for me. Roof is being linked to Doncaster. That would be a really good move. They've already got Billy Sharp in, which is a really good move for them. Any news of Travis? In terms of Travis, there's no latest update, but we know that Derby County need to put a bid in of around £3 million to secure that deal, which obviously they haven't done as of yet. Random question, but what was your immediate reaction when you saw that Wayne Rooney was joining Derby County back in 2019? That is a great question. That is genuinely a great question, because I was in Valencia at the time on holiday with family and my girlfriend, and I didn't believe it, because it was after the Huddersfield game, if I remember rightly. We'd just won. We looked really, really good that night as well, and it was one where I was really surprised by the news, and I was really surprised that it had came through, but ultimately absolutely delighted that that news had come through, and it was a very, very good move, but it didn't feel like one that Philip Cocu at the time actually wanted. But we'll have to sort of wait and see we won't wait and see. We saw how it developed, and it didn't necessarily go to plan. And I genuinely believe that if it wasn't for COVID, we'd have gone up that year, or at least minimum playoffs, in my personal opinion. But we'll have to wait and see. Who do you think will start on the right on Friday? If we do play a back four, I think it'll be Caden Jackson or Joe Ward if we play a back four. Need wingers, spot on, Rams fan. I think Sayoto would be a statement signing, completely agree. Not sure if you think this as well, Lewis, but in interviews think John Eustace speaks really well. Yeah, I think he does. I think he speaks terrifically. He's a very, very good talker, and he's very sort of direct in what he says, which I think is the most important thing. I don't think it's difficult to get across what Eustace is actually thinking, if I'm completely honest. So I really like his interviews. We have a chance for playoffs when everyone is fit. I believe so. I think it's a small chance, but the chance is there. Welcome in, Cuba. Hope you're okay. Urgently, we are well short in that department. We certainly are short in those wide areas. My Championship top 6 is Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester 3rd, Birmingham, Coventry, Millwall. Wouldn't surprise me about Millwall. Stoke City have had a good start as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if they get in. Borough looking good for top 6, says Colin Wilson with their signings. Yeah, you've made some good moves. It'll be interesting to see if you do keep hold of Hackney, because I believe you've still got him at the moment, haven't you? So if you can keep hold of him, you're in an excellent position. If you can't, then it'll be interesting to see how you sort of reinvest that money for me. I think Friday's game will be a cracker. Also, Morris to get a brace. Morris has scored in every game so far, hasn't he? So for me, I think very likely that he could pick up a goal this upcoming weekend If Sheffield United lose at home to Millwall this weekend, then they're in danger of relegation. I personally think Sheffield United will find a way out of their groove. They're just in a bit of a difficult position at the moment, but I'm not too worried about them. I think we'll sneak a draw when we play Bristol. Bristol are one of those teams for me they have a little bit of a soft underbelly. If you can get into them, you can cause problems and you can have a real impact on them and really start to cause problems on their defensive end, which I think if we can get hold of the midfield, I personally think we'll be fine. But if we can't, then it's going to be a little bit of a problem. Yeah, we need him, Hackney, to stay for this season. Yeah, if you can keep him for this season, I genuinely think you go up, if I'm honest. But I think it'll be through playoffs. If he goes, I think you'll be just outside the playoffs, personally. News, heavily linked with Harrison Armstrong. Let me go and take a look over on Twitter. It's way too early to be talking about... it's way too early to talk about relegation and promotion. Yeah, it certainly is. It is way too early to be having that conversation, because at the end of the day, there's so much that can change from now until the end of the season. And in regards to, we're not even finished with squad depth and things like that right now. So we're sort of in a very sort of difficult position to really make those sort of calls, in my personal opinion. So we'll sort of have to wait and see sort of how that develops towards the end of the transfer window. I've got a gut feeling we will sign someone by tomorrow afternoon. Do you know something that would be brilliant as Derby County fans? It would be great to have that new signing in my personal opinion. But obviously, will it happen or not? I'm not entirely sure. Who do you think will be our top goal scorer? I've gone for Colton Morris. I think he'll get 15. My 6 is Ipswich, Southampton, Birmingham, Bristol, Millwall and Swansea. Decent top 6. Not sold on Swansea, but we'll sort of see how that goes. Do you think Dean Garner would be a good free? Yes, but I believe he's going to Saudi. We've got a young sensation from Man City to replace Hackney if he leaves. Is that the Norwegian? I think he's 18 years old. I think it is. Because he's a good signing. Half of Bristol's midfield is our academy. Yeah, it is. You've got Nye, you've got Bird. Then if you look at their forward line, you've got Emil Rees-Jacobsen. You've got former Derby County loanee Hayden Roberts playing at left wing back or left centre back, wherever they choose to play him. What is your favourite ever Derby kit? Mine's got to be the 1995-96 home shirt, original of this season's home shirt. Central badge, Puma sponsor. What a shirt that was. For me, I really liked the black and green shirt. Was it Dave McGoldrick season? I really, really like that shirt. Good evening, Paul. By the way, I think Morris should be top bagsman. Yeah, 100%. Where do you think Derby will finish? I think 12th. I've got them between 7th and 12th. I think it will be... I've got my thoughts on 8th. But we will have to wait and see. Weimann will get the most assists if he gets games and back in his stride. Yeah, I think assist-wise, I think it's going to be between Weimann and Bobby Clark once Bobby Clark is fit. But obviously, Bobby Clark has got to be fit to actually cause a problem for Derby County. So we'll have to wait and see sort of how that progresses in that sort of regard, because that's obviously sort of something which will take differences for Derby County. Is Bobby Clark going to be the starting number 10? Is it going to be Rhian Brewster? Is it going to be Andy Weimann? Or are we going to play with the front two? All of these things which can change how you sort of look at the situation for me. IG Mang to get 12, Morris 17. That would be really, really good for me. Well, shall we... We've spent half an hour talking about Derby County. Shall we get into the championship predictions then? Shall we take a look at what is going off in the EFL Championship at this upcoming set of fixtures this weekend? Let's go through them one by one as we head towards the weekend. Obviously starting off with Derby County versus versus Bristol City on Friday night, and then we'll look through the rest of the fixtures as well. So get your thoughts in the comments. We're obviously starting off with Derby County, Bristol City, so let me know what your thoughts, score predictions, goal scorers, whatever you want to drop in there, let me know, and we'll see sort of how that goes. Obviously, both teams sort of in very, very different positions. In terms of Bristol City, I think obviously started the season really well. In terms of Derby County, not on that same factor, but it's going to be an interesting game. It is going to be an interesting game for me. So the pedigree, it's going to be slow, hard ride this season up to the national break. Yep, certainly is. I think Morris will be top scorer. I think he'll score 50. I think Agyemang will be second with 7 or 8. I'd happily take that. The season is more of a building block. Next is where we challenge. It's going to be close for top goal scorer, spot on. To be honest, I like what I've seen of Morris. Holds up the ball well, scores. Just need the injured back so we can look dangerous. Completely agree. Can you put fixtures on a separate screen? Now, I can't do that now, but I need to sort out my... I need to sort out the other sort of... In fact, actually, I might be able to. Give me a second. Let me just... Layout, editor, studio mode... Give me what... I don't know if it'll let me do it. It won't. Just give me 2 seconds. I think I can do it. So let's go window capture. Let's go fixtures. Give me 2 seconds. I think I can get the fixtures on the screen. There we go. Right. So let's do that. Let's shorten that down. Put it, should we put it, where are we going to put this on the screen then? Should we put it here? Let's ignore the sponsors for the time being. Drop that there. Let's just make it a bit smaller so you got all the fixtures. Wait, let's get all the fixtures on the screen. There we go. Is that okay for everybody? Can everybody see that in terms of fixtures and things like that? Right, so there you go. There's the fixtures. Right, so back to the comments. Hi, are you okay? Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks, Mazza. How are you? So, right, where did we get to? 2 on Derby. Bristol games got a 0-0 or 1-1 written all over it. I actually think it could be a draw. Morris brace, that would be good. Derby 3. Let me make it smaller on this screen because that's covering everything. Let's put that there. There we go. Much better. Much better. I think that's better. Morris brace. Derby 3-2. That would be good. Cuba 2-2 for Derby Bristol. Morris with a brace. Birdie's going to score a screamer. Can you put fixtures on the separate screen for you? Hope that's okay. 3-1 Derby win. Morris brace and any sub to score. That would be good. 2-1 Derby Morris and Matt Clark to score. Twine scores for them. Bristol City 3-1. Jacobson, Bird, Knight to score for Bristol City. Vyman to score against former club. That would be decent. Hart says 3-1. Head says it will be a draw. Yeah, I think many people are a bit like you. In the comments, the fact the 3 played in the game on Monday, I think it was really a good sight. Yeah, I completely agree. Langas is key to a solid back 4. Yeah, 1-1 Leicester game. Yeah, right. So let's go through all the games then. So in terms of the fixtures, so we've obviously got Derby Bristol City, which we've just gone through. Travis to be announced on Friday night. That would be really good for Derby. Shall we take, before we get into the next set of fixtures, let's just jump on Twitter. I just want to check nothing has happened while I am live. I assume you'd tell me anyway, but let's just check. Let's just check. We have nothing confirmed. We have nothing confirmed right now. Right, so let's get into it then. Charlton Leicester City is the early kickoff with Hull versus Blackburn, Swansea versus Watford. They're the early kickoffs. Now, for me, I think Leicester are going to win that game. I'm going to say 2-1 Leicester City. I think they've got a very good squad. They've got a decent bunch of players as well. And for me, not that I don't think Charlton have the quality. I just think that there's a lot of work that needs doing in that regard in terms of Charlton being that proper outfit in the Championship where they're going to sort of cause those sort of issues long term against teams like Leicester, in my personal opinion. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Leicester City. In the comments, we've got 1-1 Leicester game, Charlton 1, Foxes 0. It will be interesting to see how they sort of all shape up for me, because I do think that they're a very good team, Charlton. I just think we're sort of waiting for them to sort of hit their stride, if that makes sense. They've got a decent chunk of players for me. You look at Kelman, who they've bought in from QPR, obviously was at Leyton Orient last year, and it will sort of be interesting to see sort of how that goes for me. Obviously, he's had a bit of issues from the fan base at Charlton recently, so it's not been great. Any news on Kyoto? Nothing as of yet. We're waiting for confirmation on the deal. Obviously, the only news we have on that at the moment is from the talks that are progressing and things like that, but we will have to wait on that one. Charlton 0, Leicester 2 from Cuba, Hull 1, Rovers 2. That wouldn't surprise me. My prediction for this game week: Charlton win 1-0, Blackburn draw, Swansea 2-1, Birmingham 2-0, Cov, 1-1 Norwich, 2-2 Ipswich with Norwich, and 3-1 Millwall, 2-0 West Brom, 3-0 and 1-1 Wrexham. Right, that's a decent chunk of fixtures, that is. Can't see Leicester winning as they're selling Alcanus. I still think they've got a lot of quality in the building, if I'm completely honest. I know they don't necessarily have a replacement, but they've got a lot of quality in the building already for me, which I think sort of puts them in the right direction. Happy Ajimang is back in training next week. Yeah, it'll be good to see him play. My prediction for this weekend's fixtures: Derby 1, Bristol 3, Charlton Leicester 0-0, Hull 2-1, Swansea 1-0, Birmingham 2-1, Coventry 3-0, Norwich 3-2, Preston 1-1, Millwall 1-0, Baggies 2-1, and 4-0 Wrexham Sheffield Wednesday. Hull 1-0, Swans 2-2, Swansea 1, Watford 1, Charlton 6-0, Leicester and Leicester to go down. If Leicester get their points deduction, they might end up going down, if I'm completely honest with you. But that's going to be sort of a topic that they're going to have to deal with this season. Oxford lose 3-1. Wrexham lose 2-1. Birmingham 2-0. It is going to be very interesting to see how this weekend progresses. Obviously, Hull and Blackburn. Hull have obviously just had their embargo reduced to 2 windows rather than 3, which puts them in a position where they can Obviously, they can't bring in players now, but they can get deals lined up for next summer. So they've just got to sort of survive for me. Birmingham 2-0, Coventry 3-1 win. I wouldn't be surprised about Coventry. Swansea-Watford is an interesting one. I'm not sold on Swansea yet, but ultimately I'm not sold on Watford either, to be quite honest. But we'll sort of see how that goes. Obviously, Watford with that link to Udinese and things like that, which sort of move you in that direction. Birmingham City, Oxford, I personally think Birmingham will win that. I think they've just got a bit too much quality for Oxford, if I'm completely honest. And obviously, the financial package that they've got going on at Birmingham is very, very good, let's put it that way. Birmingham 2, Oxford 1. Yeah, what is good, y'all? Bring me Luke Plange and Uzviak, please. No, thank you. Leave them where we are. Saw your Alex Matos video. Are we linked? I saw a link the other day on, I think it was on Twitter, but I don't know where the link has actually gone, if I'm completely honest. It has disappeared from my bookmarks. So I think maybe I've been faked out with that one. Have you seen the 20 million Norwegian Man City players gone to Middlesbrough on loan? Yeah, I saw that. There was someone in the TikTok chats talking about him earlier. Very, very good player. Very good player. Coventry 3, QPR 2. Do you know something? I quite like Cov. I do. I think they've got a great opportunity this season to sort of really take themselves forward. But it will be interesting to see. In terms of Cov, Queen's Park Rangers, I do think Cov will take the victory. I think many people probably agree with that as well. Will it be 3-2? I do believe that they're going to concede a lot of goals this season, and that's a massive, massive question mark on the head of the likes of Frank Lampard, because they are a very sort of if I remember back to when Derby County had Frank Lampard in charge, it was very much a case of we'd score loads but also concede loads. It was always, can you outscore the opposition? And it worked for us, but will it work for Coventry long term? Would you take Cade Gordon on loan? I think if it's worst case scenario, yes. But I don't necessarily think he would be first choice. Norwich 2, Borough 2, decent. Derby to win 2-1 on Friday, that'd be good. Who would your scorers be, Niall? Let me know in the comments. Hello to Derby Counties for Fabrizio Romario. I wish I had that sort of pull. What teams do you have a soft spot for? Mine's Chelsea. Doncaster, because I work there. And then obviously if we're talking about Premier League, I quite like West Ham, quite like Chelsea. So I don't particularly sort of have soft spots. I just sort of like everyone, if I'm quite honest. Juzviak's prime was crazy. Yeah, his prime happened when he was about 18 at, was it Lech Poznan, I think he was at. That was when he had his prime. He's never sort of hit the ground running since. Preston 0, Ipswich 2. Norwich Middlesbrough, I'm probably going to go for a Middlesbrough win. I think they've got a decent sort of situation ongoing there at Borough. I think I like Rob Edwards. It's just about sort of getting everything into the right position for me. And for me, are they sort of on that hunt? I certainly do believe they are. What are your thoughts on Bobby Clark so far? I don't think it's right to judge Bobby Clark, if I'm completely honest, Niall. I think in terms of his sort of position and ability, for one, at the moment, I don't think we've seen him in his best position. And for two, I think it's one of those where I think long term, once he's fit and available, I think he'll be by far our best player, to be quite honest with you. So if we sort of look then at Preston Ipswich, I think Ipswich win that one. I'm going to say 3-0 if I'm completely honest. I quite like Ipswich Town. I think they've got a lot of quality. And if they can get some of their top performers hitting the ground running, then I'll be really happy with that for Ipswich, because they do have a great opportunity. My soft spot is Forest, as they're just a zit which you can burst. Lol, fair enough. Do you reckon Lewis takeover will be announced when transfer window is shut? I think it'll be done between September and January. I think something will be announced, if I'm completely honest. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Obviously, those of you that are in the chat, if you're over on TikTok, hit like, hit follow. If you're on Twitch, follow as well. Obviously, those of you on YouTube, like and subscribe. But in terms of takeover, I think it will be one of those that will be sort of put forward more in those sort of that time period between the two transfer windows. Do you not like Palace? They gave us a mil for Plange. If I'm completely honest, no. I think in terms of Plange, in terms of EBOE, I think if we'd have not gone into administration, they'd be first teamers for us now and be unbelievable players, if I'm completely honest. But ultimately, they went to Palace and it ruined their careers for me. Pardon me. Watching Juzviak play for Poland at Euro 2020 was so odd. The last time I've seen Derby player at an international tournament along with Marshall for Scotland. Didn't Bielik play in that tournament as well? I could be wrong. Or was it the one after? Or was it 22 what Bielik was involved in? Southampton 0. Stoke 1. Any news on takeover or investment? There's nothing new at the moment. Hear me out. Bring me Tom Lawrence. I'd have no issues with Tom Lawrence coming in as a last resort, if I'm completely honest with you, because I think he's a very, very good footballer. Just can he stay fit? That's the big question. So Sheffield United, Millwall. I think Sheffield United will get. I think it'll be 1-1. I think Millwall have done all right so far at start this season. Sorry, I meant if you could change stand names, what would you change them to? I think David Clowes deserves a stand name. And to be honest with you, I just call it North, East, South and West, to be quite honest. I don't actually call it like the Toyota whatever and things like that. So for me, I'd probably just keep it the same. I'm very much, I like the same. West Brom 2, Pompey 1. That would be a decent result for West Brom. Stoke City, Southampton. I think Southampton will win that one, if I'm completely honest. I think it'll be a 1-0 though. So I do think you're right in that regard, Eustace Barmy Army. Why don't he stand up next to away end now? I think it's because a lot of them were threatened with having their season tickets taken off them. But obviously, you don't want to risk that, do you? Tom Lawrence was okay, but over the hill now. Yeah, he's very much at that age, into where he can't really sort of get that sort of deal done. Sorry, Lewis, I've been gone last 10 minutes. What have I missed? So we're just going through the Championship fixtures at the moment, discussing a couple of transfers and things like that at the moment. Who are your 3 to go down this season, Lewis? Sheffield Wednesday, Hull and Preston, I think I said. I think I've got Charlton right on the edge. If I'm completely honest, but we will wait and see. So for Southampton Stoke, I'm going Southampton 1-0. In terms of West Brom Pompey, I think I'll give West Brom, let's say West Brom win that 2-0. If I'm honest, Wrexham, Sheffield Wednesday, let's say, I think Wrexham win that. Let's say 1-0 Wrexham. Let's see if that will work. So, obviously, the Championship is an interesting game. It's an interesting situation to put ourselves in. Everybody knows that as Derby County fans, as fans of teams in the Championship, there's a lot of circumstances that can change. Hear me out, get Josef Soon out of retirement. Do you know something? I would give any money not to get Josef Soon out of retirement, to be completely honest with you. Very concerned around our winger signings or even links. Lots of injuries and links with mediocre players. I think Kyoki Soto is very much a very good link. I think Lewis Travis is a good link. But I think in terms of Cade Gordon, it's sort of a complete backup plan, if I'm very honest with you. I think Sheffield Wednesday will get battered again. 4-0 to Wrexham is my prediction. Not sure Sheffield Wednesday will even win a league game this season due to financial problems. It's all about whether they can keep their 11 fit, if I'm quite honest, because they've got a solid base 11. It's just about how long they can stay fit. And that was our problem during the administration season. Once we lost Graham Shinney, and I think we lost like 5 or 6 academy players in January as well, it put us in a really, really difficult spot. That when we picked up an injury to Lawrence, Morrison got injured at one point, Kazim Richards got injured, it just put us in a really, really difficult spot. If they can keep players fit, personally, I think they'll be fine. I think Charlton stay up and get 18th. Wouldn't be the worst surprise in the world. I just think it's a case of can they get their squad sort of ready to go. Which I think at the moment, they've not been awful so far, but they've also not been great. So we'll sort of wait and see how that goes. Where do you think Brewster will play and how ready is he for Friday? Didn't he play centre forward for most games of his career? Don't understand where him playing at right wing is coming from. So, in terms of Ryan Brewster, I don't think he'll play on Friday, to be quite honest with you. I think he will be, at best, I think he'll be on the bench. But that's something which we'll sort of have to address. So it's one of those which is going to take it's going to take an interesting run for Brewster to be in the team on Friday. Now, in terms of position, I think that Brewster will probably play either as a second number 9 or as a or off the right, because he was most effective for Sheffield United last season just in behind the striker or off one of the wings. And I'm not saying that he'll be like an out-and-out winger, but I certainly think that will be something what he'll do, if I'm completely honest. What was your first ever Derby game and what was the score? Appreciate whatever that is that you've sent, Andy John. It won't show on my screen, I won't lie to you. But appreciate that. First game I remember going to was Derby versus Arsenal in, I think it was in a cup competition, and my brother was a mascot for the game, but I have no idea what the score was. I won't lie to you at all. Do you think Zetterstrom will start Friday? Yes, I do. I don't think there's anything in the rumours in regards to Vickers potentially coming in or anything like that. I don't think Zetterstrom has had that bad a few games, if I'm completely honest with you. Carlton Morris looking world class. Remember when I told you he needs to sign him on the last season review? Yeah, you were spot on as well, Access. I really didn't think it was a move that was going to happen. I'm not going to lie. I think I've missed something. Here we go. Think when you hit 3,000 subscribers, you should do a big giveaway. Not sure what you'd give away though. Maybe some football shirts or packs of stickers, cards, etc. It's something that I'm sort of looking into. I do have a potential raffle on the cards. We'll put it in the chat over on YouTube. So let's go raffle. Do you want Derby's away shirt /3? Or do you want 2 home match tickets? So those of you who are on TikTok or on Twitch, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're in the portrait version of my stream, head on over to the other one and drop your vote in for the raffle. Would you want it to be the Derby away shirt, 3rd shirt, or would you like it to be 2 home tickets for a home match of your choice? In that regard, Lawrence training by himself. Wrexham last team linked. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up at Wrexham. Come on Derby, come on Derby. Yeah, absolutely. We need another defender and winger. Winger definitely, defender if he won at the moment. I just want a good entertaining game Friday, not a boring come and score first match. We need to be on our game yet. Wrexham will end up 16th at best. They've risen through the pyramid very quickly. Yeah, I think they'll stay up, to be honest. Evening, everybody. Birmingham top 6 with their strong as fuck squad. Stansfield will be top goal scorer, 25 goals. We'll see about that. Obviously, in terms of goals and things like that, last season, a lot of his goals in the division were penalties, so we'll have to wait and see. What's your score prediction for Bristol? I've said... I think, did I say 2-1 Derby or 1-0 Derby? I think it'll be a tight game anyway, something along those lines. Where do you think we'll finish? Between 7th and 12th, I want to say about 8th or 9th, if I'm quite honest. Birmingham's overspending could come back to bite them next season and they might get relegated, think they'll lose in the playoffs. It could do. That's what I'm worried about in terms of Birmingham. What year was that Arsenal game? As I could try Google. If I'm honest with you, I'm not entirely sure. I was like really little. I think I was only just walking, to be honest. My first ever game was our last game at the baseball ground. Uncle took me. Didn't understand the significance at the time. Yeah. Used to buy me on match tickets. Fair enough. So it pretty much confirms that Ibu will never be dropped now, especially being the captain. Friday will tell us a lot about if we can finally move him away from 10. But Bobby Clark looks out of shape. In terms of Ibu, I don't think he'll be a starter long term, if I'm honest. But we'll have to wait and see. Paul, 2 home match tickets. All right, mate, love the channel. Appreciate you stopping by, Tomato. Derby away /3rd shirt for me in the raffle. Would be 3rd shirt for me. I've had to pick. I absolutely love it. One of the best shirts. Yeah, I really like it too. Hot take, I think we'll be a lot closer to relegation than top 6. I think that depends on how quickly everyone gets back fit and how it works. Can you see any other players going to Paul Warne at MK? I think there's a possibility Rooney or Dejan Brown could potentially head there on loan. But obviously at the moment, we've got to keep them because of injury issues. Those of you in the YouTube chat, make sure you vote on that poll. We've got 6 votes at the moment. Most are saying away /3rd shirt. We got no options, Lewis, for YouTube. Hang on a minute. Let me put it in the other one. Create a poll. Just give me 1 second. It's because I've got it on both portrait and landscape. Away /3rd or match tickets. Start. There you go, Paul. It should be in there now, mate. Derby 10th max. Do you know something? There's always that possibility for it. Has it started again? It started again on there. It started on there. Yeah. We're all good with the poll. It's just filling up my chat with the poll now. I shot by Dion Sanderson. Didn't think he was going to be this bad. Neither did I, to be quite honest with you. Will we sign anyone before the Bristol game? I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I don't know why I've got it on both. I clicked to put the stream on TikTok and it seems to have done both vertical and portrait for YouTube as well. So I'll have to sort that out for the next one. I will. Why have you got two street? I think I knew Dion would flop. Right, let's end these polls because they're just filling up the chat and I can't see anything. Right, so we'll look at away and third kit. We will look at that for the next raffle that we do. But yeah, so we've got 13 concurrent on the portrait one and we've got 13 concurrent on the live one. Dion's terrible. Eber, in my opinion, is playing in Patrick's role. His position will be changed. I don't think Patrick will play that position, if I'm completely honest. I think it'll be Bobby Clark that plays behind the striker, depending on who we're up against. Everyone in this chat, including Lewis, please give me a rogue shout about Derby County now the new season has started. Mine is Zetterstrom to get a goal involvement this season, goal or assist. So, if we're going to do rogue shouts... If we want to go really rogue, we could go Eustace doesn't see out the season. If we want to go a little bit less rogue, we could probably go with Bezzers, Niambi's first career goal. If you want to go with a little bit more rogue, I think that someone from the academy will end up being a first teamer by the end of the season. Need to give him time to settle in. Yes, it was a bad game, but I think he will improve. Assuming you're on about Dion Sanderson there, Andy John. I hope he does improve, to be quite honest with you. Another rogue shout for me is Derby to be in the playoffs on Christmas Day 2025. Could you imagine the scenes? Playoffs on Christmas Day. Could you imagine the scenes? It will be interesting to see if Derby County do end up playoffs or whatnot by that time period, because obviously by then I think everybody will be back October. Ibu top scorer, that is a big shout, Eustace. That is a big shout. Who is top scorer at the minute? It will be Morris, won't it? There's no way we play 4-2-3-1 as our primary team. Morris isn't getting dropped at all. He's been really good. We have no wingers really, and we have PA and Brewster. So in terms of us going 4-2-3-1, I think that depends on what signs we can get in before the end of the season. Before the end of the transfer window. If we can get in another couple of wingers, I think we will go 4-2-3-1. If I'm honest. Academy player make the first team. Another rogue shout is Abuka gets swept up by a Prem team. That isn't as rogue as you think, to be honest, Beza. That isn't as rogue as you think, because Charles Abuka is currently not on a pro deal. So if we've not got that sorted with Abuka by, I think, it's either January or March, he can then start discussing with other clubs, domestic and foreign. So we'll have to wait and see. If we lose the next two, which is looking likely, how concerned would you be? I'm not worried until after the international break. That's my personal opinion. Hello, lad. How are we? All good, thanks, Josh. Good luck Friday from a Bristol City fan. What's your score prediction, Josh? Do you think Bristol City will win? Or do you think Derby County will take the 3 points? I reckon if we have investment, they might look at a statement signing. Think when we signed Twilight, Korea, Wayne Rooney. If that were to happen realistically, which player would you want? Honestly, I'd want proper left winger, proper wingers. That's what I'd want. If we're going to make statement signings, I'd want a proper wingers. I think we lose, to be fair enough, Josh. Obviously, I personally, as a Derby fan, I think that Bristol City have a bit of a soft underbelly. If we sort of get into the game, I think you'll lose it. But if we can't get in, it'll be difficult. We need investment sooner than later. Don't disagree. I think we need a rapid winger. Completely agree, Archie. I think you're spot on with that. Another rogue shout. Richard O'Donnell, third choice keeper, to play 3 games this season, either league or cup. Keeps 2 clean sheets out of those games. I would be surprised if he gets in the team. I'm not going to lie. Rogue shout, West Brom to finally beat us at the Hawthorns in the game on the 13th of September. We have a great record there. That'll be really, really interesting if we can get a good result there. That's more Rogue Bezet. If we lost him this close to then end of the window, we are cooked. Maybe we are. You looking forward to seeing Jason and Max Bird? Yeah, is Max Bird back fit? I know he had a bit of an injury, didn't he, which kept him out of, I think, the first couple of games of the season. But for me, I really like Max Bird and Jason Knight. Very, very good footballers. If we could get them back at Derby, I'd absolutely take them. Like, and that's not even a lie. Like, I really like them both. So we will have to sort of wait and see sort of how that goes. In regards to them coming back, obviously didn't sort of go the way they wanted it to back last season, but we'll wait and see. Was really counting on Owen Beck, super disappointed with his injury. Him and Brewster are the only unpredictable players on the team. Not entirely sure if they're the only unpredictable players on the team. Adding Kane Wilson, I think Bobby Clark is unpredictable, but we'll have to wait and see. Would you take Lawrence back? In terms of Lawrence, I'd take him back if he's fit, but I don't necessarily think he's fit, to be quite honest. Yeah, he's back, not 100% fully fit, but he's back in the squad. That'll be good. I bet he'll be involved on Friday. How do you think Ebio will do at Blackpool? I wouldn't personally take him back, but I think he'll do well at Blackpool. If he gets games, I think he'll be fine. It's over for Blackett Taylor, isn't it? Sell him in January. If we get in 2 wingers across the course of the rest of this transfer window, I think Blackett Taylor's done, personally. But we'll wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Rogue shout, think we'll score a 100th minute winner away at topside this season, and there'll be absolute limbs fans on the pitch. Let's see. It would be good to see. You free tomorrow to do a preview for our game as a Derby fan to talk and discuss the game? Drop me a DM, Josh. Drop me a DM and I'll get back to you. I think there is investment just because of the statement Klaus has put out. Yeah, I agree. Dion Sanderson. Yeah, we can all laugh at Sanderson. Who is Alex Matos? Chelsea youngster. I'm convinced CBT is made out of glass. Looks really solid, but lasted 60 minutes of the season before being subbed off. Yeah, and now he's out for the next 4 weeks. Are you going Friday? Yes, I am. I will be there on Friday. I think if we had players like Ebiseli and Ebioe were back in 21-22, we would push very high. I think if we had 21-22 Ebioe and 21-22 Ebiseli, I think we'd be in a very, very good position right now, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, going to end this one here. I know I've only been on for about just over an hour. I think Derby need experience in midfield. Just looked so weak in midfield against Cov. It's a difficult one in terms of the midfield because I think we've got some very good players. All that money spent, not a great start. Pompey fan in peace. In terms of the money we've spent, you've not seen it on the pitch yet. So I wouldn't worry too much about it yet. But yeah, in terms of the midfield, I think having Ibu where we've got Ibu is the major problem. If you drop him deeper and play Kenzo in that further forward role, or even play Vyman, I think we'd be in a much better position. I think it's time to cut our losses with CBT. Need to sell in January. Injured too much, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't disagree. I know I asked this yesterday, but just to clarify, are you doing live streams daily now? Yeah, I'm going to try to. Tomorrow, I'm not going to have 2 different YouTube streams, though. I'm not going to have a vertical one and a portrait and horizontal one. But yeah, I'm going to head off now. I've been live for the last hour. Those of you in, hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow, whichever platform you're on. Appreciate all of you for stopping by. It's obviously been great chatting to every single one of you. We will be back at some point tomorrow, so make sure you have them notifications on. Derby County to sign someone 1 minute after your end. You know something? I'm going to stay on till 7 just in case. Let's just stay on till 7. Do we have a notification from Derby? If a transfer does happen this evening, I'll be back live. I'm going to go have some tea. Going to work on a couple of videos. And I'll obviously speak to you all later on. Really appreciate every single one of you stopping by. But I will catch you in the next one. Can you let us know if you're doing a live stream on your YouTube videos tomorrow, as I'm not on Twitter? Yeah, I'll also put a post on my YouTube community page, Richard. So keep an eye on that as well. If you click on the profile, and I think it says posts or community, head on over there and there'll be a post on there at some point tomorrow. But yeah, appreciate all of you stopping by. I will catch you in my next one tomorrow. I've got a couple of videos already prepared for tomorrow. I'm going to work on a few more. So keep your eyes peeled and I will see you tomorrow. If you haven't done so already, hit like, hit subscribe. If you're on TikTok and Twitch, hit follow. But I will catch you in the next one, which will be at some point tomorrow. So that is going to be it for me. Bye-bye, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow.